everyone, it's me Terry of the Yarn Joy podcast. Welcome back to another tutorial. Well, in today's tutorial, I'm following up from the previous tutorial, which was tips on making granny squares, and this is going to be like a part 2. And so in today's video, I'm going to show you how I am going to put these squares together in a join as you go method. So let's get started and we'll start connecting these granny squares together. So in my previous video, I showed you how I made these 2 colored granny squares. I did 2 rounds of my first color and then changed color, and I showed you how I changed color using the magic knot where I wouldn't have tails to weave in, okay, between the color changes. And then I did 2 rounds of the second color, and as you can see, when I finished the second round of the second color, which is the 4th round, I did not join my round, because what my plan is for this blanket is doing the join as you go method. I will be joining the squares together in the 5th round. And so I picked a main color. It's just a soft white color. I've got here a skein of it. And I'm going to make the 5th round of all of my squares with this main color, which is soft white. And then I'm going to be joining them together as I'm making that 5th round. Okay, so your first round, I'm going to go ahead and show you. I already completed it, but not the first round, the first square, you want to go ahead and complete the 5th round. And I did it the same way I did the other as far as the color change. Okay, I started with the very end of round 4 where I didn't join, and I joined my main color with the magic knot method, okay? And I went ahead with the first square. You want to go ahead and finish the 5th round all the way around, okay? And so I did that. I did just a regular join where I chained 2 because I ended up in the corner. I chained 2, and then I slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, which was the beginning of the round, and I went ahead and weaved in my end. So I did have that one end, the very last tail, that I had to weave in. Okay, so the first square, you want to go ahead and complete round 5. Okay, now with your next square, okay, we're going to do it a little different. So let's go ahead and get ready to do our color change, and I'm going to do it using the magic knot just the way I did it in the previous tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to join it together with the previous color using the magic knot method. And if you need a little more assistance with that, I will put that in the tutorial. I will link part 1's tutorial below in the description box, where you can see that, where I go slower as far as changing colors, okay? So I'm just connecting my yarn using that magic knot method that I showed you before. Get my knot down there close to the other one. Okay. And then I'm going to pull the 2 knots together, and then I'm going to trim those tails close to the knot. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and continue, and I'm joining it with a half double crochet, and I showed that in the part 1 video as well. So I'm going to I'm going to make a half double crochet into the top of the chain 3 from the first chain 3 that was at the beginning of the round. Just make a half double crochet. That leaves our hook in the really good place to start the next round. So I'm going to chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to make 2 double crochets. Okay, so that's like a half of a corner, and now I'm going to continue on just like regular, 3 double crochets into each space till I get to the next corner. Pull out some yarn here. Okay. Okay, so I got to my first corner. I'm going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. And then 3 double crochets. So if you're only going to be joining one side together, which that's how that's going to work. We've only got one side that we're going to be joining to put these 2 squares together. Then I go ahead and do 2 complete sides before I do the joining. Okay, I like to I don't go all the way around and have just one side unfinished where I'm going to do the joining. I like to go ahead and get my joining done by either the second or the third side of the square, and then that way this remaining last side of the square I can just do regular. I'm not joining to anything, and I can do a regular finish off on the corner. It just works better for me that way. So just remember, if you're only going to be joining one side, go ahead and do 2 sides of your square before joining to the other square. Okay. I've got one more shell to do, and then I've got the corner. Okay. Now, I'm going to start joining to the previous square in this corner. So I need to do the first half of it though. So 3 double crochets into the corner. Okay, and remember the way we're doing our corners is we were doing a chain 2 in each corner. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first chain of that chain 2. Okay, 1 chain, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect to my first square. So I get them together here. I'm going to join them together as I'm working on this side. So what I do, I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, zoom you up a little bit. See if you can, that works better. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my hook just a little bit, you know, so that way I don't lose that stitch when I take my hook out. Took my hook out. I'm going to go to the previous square, and I'm going to put my hook from the front to the back into that corner hole, okay, like that. And then I'm going to take my that chain 1 that I just finished, you know, that I'm working on the incomplete square, and I'm going to hook it onto my hook back on. Okay, pull it down snug a little bit, and then I'm going to pull it through that hole of my first square. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and lock it down by doing a chain. Okay, and now I'm going to go and I'm going to complete my shell into the unworked square. Okay, so 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm ready to, I need to connect again. I'm going to connect into this hole right there. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull it up just a little bit, take out my hook, put my hook from front to back into the next hole of the previous square, and then go ahead and pick up that loop, snug it down, pull it through the hole. Okay, and then go ahead and do a chain to lock it down. And then I'm going to do 3. It's like you're doing a slip stitch. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 double crochets into the next hole in my unfinished square. Okay, so that's how I join them together. Okay, so let's do it again. Let me pull out some yarn here. Okay, so I'm going to take my hook out. I pull it up a little bit so that way I don't lose that loop. And then I put my hook from front to back into the next hole on my square. Pick up that loop, snug it down a little bit, and then pull it through that hole, and then make a chain to snug it down. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish my shell going into the next unworked hook of my hole of my square and do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. Let's do it again. So I take my hook out and I put it into, from front to back, into the next hole of my square. Pick up the loop, and then I'm going to pull it back through that hole and then do a chain. Okay, snug it down, and then 3 double crochets into the next unworked hole of my square. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we got to do another one. We have one more hole here before we get to the corner. Okay, so I take the hook out, I put it into the next hole from front to back, pick up that loop, pull it through the hole, chain, and then do a 3 double crochet shell into, now we are into the corner of this unfinished square, and do half of the corner. So I'm going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and remember there's a chain 2 in the corner, so I'm going to do the first chain 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my hook out and put my hook into the corner hole of this previous square from front to back, pick up that loop, and then pull it through the hole, chain 1, that secures it down, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish my corner in the new square by doing a 3 double crochets. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now they are together and they lay flat, and there doesn't seem to be a ridge. I really like that, because I have done some join as you go methods where it kind of pinches it together and it makes this ridge, you know, between the 2 squares, and this seems to lay pretty flat, so I really like that. Okay, so I have one unfinished edge. Okay, so now I can just finish that side of the square and then join it just like regular, you know, regular round, and then I will be finished joining these 2 together. Okay, so 3 double crochets into the next hole of my square, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, pull out some more yarn. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3 in the next hole, and then 3 double crochets into the next hole, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now all I have to do is finish that corner. Okay, so 3 double crochets into the corner, 1, 2, 3, and now I'm just going to do just a regular join. You know, I don't have to worry about joining with the half double crochet, because I'm not going to be changing colors or anything, so I'm not going to on another round. So I'll just chain 2, 1 and 2, and then I'll just do a slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 to join it. Okay, and then I'll get my scissors and cut just a little bit of a tail there, you know, because I'll weave that in, and then I'll just do a chain and finish it off, pull it out. See? Okay, so see, that's how you do your fur, and I like to do it in strips. And so the next square would attach right here, just one side, just like I did this one, you know. So I would do 2 sides of my square and then attach it here, and then finish that last side and join with the regular join, just like I did that. Okay, so that's how I do my blanket. I like to go ahead and just do a long strip all the way across, joining you know, one side. Okay, now when you're working on the next row of your blanket, once you get the width that you want, like the one I'm working on right now, I'm doing 7 squares across. And so once I got my 7 squares across, then I start working the second row, and it'll be right here, you know, because I'm going to now go across this way. And that first one right here, when I do that, let me zoom me out a little bit. Okay, so when I'm starting the second row, that first one, it would go right here, and it's the same thing. You're only going to be joining this one side, and that's it, okay? But then after you join this one, then when you start joining the second one, you're going to have two sides to join, okay? So let me go ahead and I will show you that. So I'm going to get my actual blanket that I'm working on, and then we will do that. We'll have two sides to join, okay? So let me get that set up and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got my blanket here, as you can see. Let me show you some more of it, see? I've got it all kind of wadded up here, but I want to show you, this is the next round that I'm working on. And as you can see, I've already got my first square of that row, not round, row. And I just joined it the same way that I just showed you. And you can, of course, back up the video and watch it again if you need to review that. But I just joined it just with one side, just like I did the other ones. Okay, so now I'm ready to join the next one. I've got a new square here, and I'm going to put that square right here. And so this one, I need to join two sides, this one and this one, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to attach this yarn just like I did before. I'm doing the magic knot method, and then I'm going to join with a half double crochet, okay? So let me go ahead and get that joined on. Okay, pull my knot down close to my hook for one side, pull it tight, and then I'm going to do the other end with my magic knot, my second knot, and I will snug that knot down as close as I can before I tighten it. Okay, pull the knots together and then trim the ends. Okay, now I'm ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to join with a half double crochet into the chain 3, and that will get me set up to make the last round using my main color for the last round. Chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. Finish my half shell in that one, which is 2 more double crochets for a total of 3 double crochets, okay? And now this first side, I'm just going to go all the way to the corner, okay? But this one, I'm going to have to join 2 sides like that, see? So I'm just going to do this one side, so that way I can join on this side, and then I can join on this side, and then this remaining side I'll just finish it off like regular, okay? So let's go ahead and go across to that first corner by doing 3 double crochets into each hole. 1, 2, 3. Okay, just like that. I'm going to kind of speed across here so that way I can get to the corner. Okay, and last hole here, 3 in there. Okay, let me pull out some more yarn. Okay, and then now I'm going into the corner. I'm going to do the first half of the shell, which is, the first half of the corner, which is 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, okay? And then since the corners have a chain 2, I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 to get it started, okay? Now I'm going to connect it to this corner right there, okay? So let me kind of get that centered, and then I will zoom you up a little bit, hopefully. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go right into that first corner hole. Now this tail I will just weave in. You know, usually I'll have these tails, and once I finish one row, then I'll go back and I'll just weave in these single tails, okay? Okay, so I've already chained one, and I'm going to take my hook out, put it in the corner hole from front to back, okay, of my previous square. Take up that loop again and pull it through the hole, and then chain 1. Now I'm going to finish my shell, okay? So 3 double crochets. I'm going to finish that corner. 1, 2, 2, and 3. Okay. Let me get my yarn more accessible here. Okay. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my hook out, put my hook into the next hole right here, okay, front to back, okay. Pick up that loop and pull it through the hole, chain 1 to secure it, and then go into the next unworked space of this, the unworked square or whatever, unfinished square, and then do 3 double crochets. Just like that, okay. Do it again. Pull it up a little bit so you don't lose your loop. Take your hook out. Put your hook into the next hole of the finished square. Pick up that loop. Pull it through the hole. And you can snug it up, you know. And then chain 1 to lock it in. And then do 3 double crochets into the next unworked hole of your unfinished square. Do 3 double crochets. Okay, and you do that until you get to the corner, okay? So I'm going to go into the next hole, do the same thing, pull that through, chain, and then go into the next unworked hole on your unfinished square and do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, take your hook out, go into the next hole on your finished square, get your loop, pull it through, do a chain, and then now we're in the corner, okay? So in the corner, I'm going to work the first half of the corner, which is 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, okay? And then I'm going to chain 1 because those corners have a chain 2, okay, in the corner. So I chained 1. Now I'm going to take my hook out and then put it into, you can put it into 2 different places. You could put it either in the corner hole of this square, okay, from front to back, okay, and then loop it in. Or if you can kind of experiment, because you can either do that or you can spread these apart and you can actually put it into that hole that's between those shells and connect it there. That works well also. But I'm going to go ahead and go into the corner hole of this square. Pull that through. Chain 1 to lock it down. And then I'm going to finish this corner with 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, when I'm going to connect it to this one, I'm not going to connect it into this corner because I've already worked into a corner of a square. So I'm going to go into this next hole right there, okay? Same way. Take my hook out, go front to back through that hole, pull that loop through. Oops, lost it. Pull it through, and then chain 1, and then do 3 double crochets into the next unworked hole, okay? 1, oops, 2, 3, okay? And then take the hook out, go into the next hole, pull that loop, chain 1, and then do 3 double crochets into the next hole. 1, 2, oops, 3, okay? And then do the same thing. Chain 1, go in 3 double crochets into the next unworked hole. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Take my hook out, go into the next hole right here, front to back. Get that loop, pull it through the hole, chain 1, and then now I'm in another corner, so I need to make the first half of it. So do 3 double crochets into the corner. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then chain 1 because they have chain 2s in the corners, okay? And then take my hook out, and then I'm going to go into, like I said, this one, they have 2 joining, so you can either go into the corner of this blue square, or you can stretch that apart and go through where where these 2 are connected together and go through that one, okay? It just depends on if you think, you know, you could try it, and if you think, oh, it leaves too big of a hole, then you can go ahead and attach it to this one. It depends on how you think it looks, really, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just go into this one. I think when I attach the next square, instead of going into that same hole, I will probably either go into this corner, you know, of this square, or between there, you know, between these 2, and attach, okay? So I'm going to do a chain to lock it down. Now I'm going to finish this corner by doing 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so yeah, that's how I do it. And see how it just lays really flat. I really like the way it doesn't create a ridge. Of course, I've got my hair in here. It doesn't create a ridge that stands up. I know some squares do that, depending on how you join them together, but I really like the way this just seems to lie flat, okay? So all I have to do here, pull that up, is now I'm just going to finish this edge. Yeah, I'm just going to finish this just regular, and when I get down to here, I will put 3 double crochets into it, because this is just half a corner. I'll put 3 double crochets into this hole, chain 2, and then just slip stitch. Just do a regular corner join, you know, in this one, okay? And then I will cut my tail, you know, leave 4 or 5 inches or so, you know, because you want to then weave in that tail, okay? So that's how I've been joining these together, and I really like, yeah, I really like the way it's looking, really. Okay, so that is really it. So just remember, if you're going to join one side together, you can go ahead and finish 2 sides of your unworked square before you join it together. But if you have to join 2 sides together, okay, then go ahead and just do 1 side of your square, like I did this. See, 1 side of the square, and then I go ahead and start joining it, because that way I always want to leave 1 side where I can, when I finish it, it'll be just no joining or anything. I can just finish it regular. So that way, when I get down to this join, I just do a chain 2 and, you know, slip stitch into the chain 3, and then I'm finished. Okay, so I think that is it that I need to show you for joining as you go. Feel free to rewatch it if you need to, you know, watch my video over again to help you get the hang of it. It really, and I think it joins the squares together really quickly. I like this method. You do have, like I say, end up with one tail, but especially when you join that white, if you do that magic knot method, see, have no tails at the back, you know, nothing I had to weave in at the back of my squares except for just this very last one right there, and that's it. So I think that cut down significantly on how many tails I had to weave in. I wouldn't even mind doing a, you know, 1 square, instead of doing 2 rounds of 1 color, to, you know, change color every round, change the look of your square, because I'm not having to weave in an extra, you know, I'm not having to weave in extra tails, so that's always a bonus. Okay, I'm gonna go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was beneficial for you, and yeah, have a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.